Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, question for you.
Yeah.
How old were you when you became a millionaire?
Excuse me?
How old were you when you made your first million?
I was 26.
You became a millionaire at 26?
Yes.
What happened that year?
I had been a part of a partnership where we had bought a company for $25 million and had sold it for $55 million 3 years later.
Actually?
Yes.
What do you do for a living out here in Miami?
I do a lot of different things.
You think we could interview you real quick? I have a channel with 10 million followers. I go all over the world interviewing super successful people. Can we get 1 minute with you?
Sure.
How many businesses do you own?
Right now?
Yeah.
I have 5.
5 businesses?
Yes.
How long have you been a business
Oh
owner?
my gosh, my first time I was an equity partner in a company, I was 24 years old.
How old are you now?
I'm 50.
You're 50 years old.
I am.
Did you come from a lot of money?
I came from nothing. I grew up with 4 kids, a single mother on food stamps, living in a trailer behind my grandparents' home.
What was your turning point to financial freedom?
When you grow up with lack, you realize what you don't want. So you're like, how am I going to fix this? And I just remember thinking at a young age, at 9 years old, I started my first paper route. I'm like, I just need to start hustling, start working. I'll figure it out along the way. A lot of people don't want to hear that. The come up is a struggle and it's a journey. But by the time I was 18 and everybody else was just starting to think about working, I had been working for a decade. So I had sales expertise. I had hustle ingrained in me. So when I actually started my first job out of college, I crushed everybody near me because I had the work ethic and I also had the experience and expertise that I had built in that come up.
Were you good at selling?
I mean, I could sell ice to an Eskimo.
Wow. So give us a quick sales masterclass right here. Give me a lesson about sales.
The most important thing about sales is to always put yourself in the other person's shoes. Too often people think about, here's what I want you to have, here's why I want you to have it. That's an epic fail. The right way to do it is to put myself in your shoes, figure out the problem that you need solved, think about and empathize with how you're feeling, how you got there, and start speaking that to you. Immediately you're gonna feel a connection with me, you're gonna feel a trust with me, and you're gonna say, this girl gets my pain point. Now I can ask her, hey, can you solve that for me? And wouldn't you know, yes, I can. And that's how you really sell people.
My man, what do you do for a living?
I help companies navigate the regulatory and clinical pathways for the products.
So you're a business owner.
If you take any supplements or beverages, more than likely it's my client.
How long have you been an entrepreneur?
A little bit longer than you.
Can we turn this off for 1 minute real quick? What was the most amount of money that you made in a single year?
Me or the company? The company I think did, let's say it would be 8.5 billion, I think last year,
8.5 billion.
give or take.
How about for yourself?
I ate every day.
8 out of 10 companies, they go out of business in today's world. What's the most common mistake you see business owners make?
CEO's ego.
Your ego is not your amigo.
Yeah, no. CEOs will fuck up a good company.
Were you good in sales?
No, I'm great in sales.
You're great at sales. What's your secret to selling? Because sales cures everything for a lot of companies.
I don't sell anything. I just find out what the client needs and I help him hit his goal.
Is there a question that you're constantly asking people?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing to get to yes? What are you
Same
doing?
thing you asked me. You got a minute? What do you need? I'll help you get there. I'm like a fucking genie.
How about negotiating though? Because you've been at the table with some heavy hitters. You're going back and forth. What's your secret to negotiating?
There's a dollar value to everything. If I can get your product to market faster than you can, what is that worth to you? And I'll figure out what that is, how much they're going to make on that particular product within a year. And if I can save them 3 months, let's say they're going to do $12 million a year on that product launch. If I can get the product 3 months earlier, I'll make them an extra $3 million. If I'm charging you $300,000, then why are you bitching?
So it's not what it costs, it's what you get. It's what
Yeah,
you're
it's the
saying.
scale of economics.
If you lost everything tomorrow, could you make it all back?
Done it 4 times.
So you've lost it before.
4 times.
How are you getting back every single time?
Same way.
Yeah. What?
The,
Well, what's the X factor each time that you've
It
lost?
doesn't make a difference. Policies and procedures are the exact same. You just got to do what you got to do. Treat people right, to give them a value for what they're looking for, and outwork everybody else.
Thank you so much for your time today.
You got it.
amazing advice. Excuse me, sir. Sir, is this your yacht?
Yeah, but what's with the camera right there?
I have a channel with 10 million followers. I go all over the world interviewing the most successful people. I'm asking yacht owners what they did to be able to afford a yacht.
Well, I own a hedge fund.
You own a hedge fund?
Correct.
For how long?
Almost 28 years.
Over these 28 years, what was the most amount of money you made in a single year?
I would say about 300 million.
$300 million?
Yeah, more or less.
Actually?
Yeah.
Hey, could I ask you a couple questions for the channel real quick?
Sure.
Thank you for having us on board.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Nice to
you,
meet
man.
you.
Could we ask you a couple questions on how you became successful?
Yeah, sure. So my first job, I was on Wall Street. I worked for a company called Nesbitt Burns. It was actually acquired by Bank of Montreal. And I then developed a hedge fund, which I was running about 4,000 traders and about 600 employees. We did about 3-4% of the U.S. markets in volume. In 2010, I then basically created a fintech company and switched from trading to execution and did that for about another 7 or 8 years. And one of the big banks in Canada looked at us, loved it, and we sold the company.
Have you ever lost money?
A lot of money.
What's the most amount of money you lost in a single year?
Tell you what I lost in one day.
What'd you lose?
A little over $8 million.
$8 million. What happened?
I was trading a stock that didn't go my way and it was like pretty bad. But, over time we learned from our lessons, made it back, and that's it.
That would cause a lot of people to crash out and do something crazy. How did you maintain composure and not go off the deep end? What was it that kept you going?
I had a bad day, thought about it, and I said it's just a bad day and we're going to go back and do whatever we can. So I learned from that mistake. I learned that one thing is always know what your risk is and always don't underestimate anything at all, because anything can happen any minute, any anytime. We don't have any control over anything over this world, and I learned that. So right now, when I decide how much risk I'm going to take in any business, I'll make sure that I could afford what I'm investing if it goes to zero or it fails.